Yo, what's up, guys? Keep and Chill here, and welcome to another reaction video. Today, I got something a little bit different from a YouTuber. Today, we're going to be reacting to Patrick CC. Now, Patrick CC, this dude's like content. I've followed him for a while, like content wise, and he's been doing amazing. Like I've seen a lot of his content regarding just different actors, rappers, and whatnot. He kind of takes a documentary into it, and it's really interesting to do. Um, just to watch in general. As Patrick CC is cool as hell. If you guys kind of interested in like actors and what they've been doing like in the past or whatnot, subscribe to Patrick CC. You'll get it's really cool regarding his content. But this one piqued my eye because the title of the video said it all. Steve Burns lied to us, but it's okay. He escaped Blue's Clues. Now, Blue's Clues was like Blue's Clues was my show. It's like probably one of my favorite shows of all time when I was little. I remember growing up, like when I was like little, like God, I have so many stories to talk about Blue's Clues, but the I can't sleep say it. Vividly. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering like that, but I remember like specifically. I remember growing like I remember when I was always little. I would always wake up like around like 5:30, like in the morning, and Blue's Clues would be turning on, and I would just be watching that, and I would get ready for school and all that stuff. And I have so many memories regarding Blue's Clues episodes. And recently, I actually watched the movie, the Blue's Clues Big Adventure, and that was a pretty cool movie. Just to kind of see Josh and Stephen Joe and all that stuff just coming together and whatnot. It was such a cool movie. But I saw this title, piqued my interest, and so we're going to be reacting to it. If you guys want to see the original video, I'm leaving the description down below, as well as Patrick CC's channel. If you guys want to check it out, he does, like I said, he does a lot of documentaries regarding actors, celebrities, rappers, and all that stuff. So go check him out if you're interested. But let's go ahead and watch this.
On April 29th, 2002, Season 4, Episode 24 of Blue's Clues, Steve Burns announced to the world that he was leaving for college and would be replaced by his brother, Joe.
All right, I'm going to be pausing a lot because I like a lot to say regarding Blue's Clues and whatnot. Now, I remember this happened. I remember, like, watching this episode when he left for college, and he never basically returned since until, like, a couple of years back where he kind of announced something on Twitter. And dude, oh my gosh, I have so many memories from that. And Joe was cool though. I'm not gonna lie, Joe was awesome. He was even if Steve like wasn't there, like Joe had to be replaced. But Joe was awesome. He was like really dope of a replacement.
But that was a lie. The truth is, Steve Burns never wanted to be on children's television in the first place.
Really?
And he was finally able to escape. But because of this lie, some disturbing rumors were brought to light. The most believed rumor was that Steve had died in a fatal car crash. A more ridiculous rumor was that he was murdered by the Blue's Clues producers, or died in an unsuccessful attempt to fight the Taliban.
What? Okay, there's a lot. There's gonna be a lot to take in because from what I remember, like Steve Burns wise, like the only reason, from what I remember physically, like the reason he left Blue's Clues is not only because of it's not really because of college, but because he started losing his hair a lot during the show, and he didn't. I guess he didn't want to assume like the kids of like I guess telling a story of a bald man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the reason he left just because of losing his hair. Because I feel like even if he loses his hair, I feel like he still would have been well known to the Blue's Clues like era, and he still is to this day. But I guess he kind of just wanted to just kind of take a break from doing acting of Blue's Clues, which honestly I can see. That's probably like the most logical reason to me.
However, the most believable theory was that Steve was depressed, got addicted to H, and rebelled against the kid show to start a rock band. And that theory wasn't entirely false.
A rock band,
While the public
really?
saw a seemingly cheerful demeanor on screen, Steve struggled with his depreciating mental health off screen. I didn't know it yet, but I was the happiest depressed person in North America. I was struggling with severe clinical depression the whole time I was on that show. Steve's job was...
You know, it's crazy because you're like an actor for like a kids show, and you're supposed to be happy and whatnot. So The fact that he was all like happy on the show and he started getting depressed like afterwards, like behind the scenes, is kind of insane to think about. There's probably actors out there who probably voiced characters on TV shows, or maybe played an act on TV shows, and maybe probably got depressed like behind the scenes. Because I'm pretty sure there's some like actors and whatnot who kind of dealt with that like off camera.
Was to be happy, uplifting, full of joy and wonder all the time.
Seeing,
he had
like,
to pretend to be interested
Blue, like,
and amazed at the smallest things, like discovering
memories.
Blue's paw print that was directly in front of him. He spent 10 hours per day filming in an empty Blue room so that he could be superimposed on the digitally animated world of Blue and her friends.
Yeah, because from what I can remember, like what he just said, it was like a blue background. So because my mom actually told me a little bit behind the scenes regarding Blue's Clues, since she watches like TikTok and all that stuff. Apparently, they tell him like specifically, oh, Blue's gonna be right here, or Mr. Salt, Miss Pepper, and whatnot gonna be like over here, and you kind of have to like show your hand. You kind of have to like show like, oh, they're talking to them, even though they're literally not there, which is kind of just weird to just think about.
At the time, technology wasn't as advanced as today, meaning
Right?
Steve had nothing visual or tangible to work with. Steve said his experience was awful and compared it to acting at the bottom of a swimming pool.
Wow.
Pools are filled with water, so stay hydrated. As if his
Yes, sir.
experience wouldn't be any more taxing on his mental health, the insane things posted about him online made things even worse. Take this game on Newgrounds, for example, where your objective was to destroy Blue and then assassinate Steve. You eliminate the dog, then go into the house where Steve is flipping you off. So you shoot him until his head pops off and then the house burns down.
Bro,
he also
ain't
had
no
to
way.
read creepy fan fiction, like this one that romanticizes the idea of Blue assaulting Steve with a deadly weapon. For some reason, people love the idea of stripping the innocence away from a children's TV show and trying to create a disturbing narrative around it. To this day, TikTokers express theories that Steve is a drug addict living in a crack house and that his hallucinations cause him to talk to inanimate objects, which come to life. People also believe that the children's voices we occasionally hear are actually Steve's neglected children, helplessly watching him feed into his addiction. Or the reason Steve is excited whenever he gets mail is because it either includes the welfare check he plans to spend on more drugs or contains the drugs themselves. Most of the
That's crazy to believe. Like, you got all these theories around. You got just like all these theories around, and you were just a child actor, but people have these theories of like, oh, he's on drugs. Oh, he's not getting like the right help he needs. When in actuality, he's just like an actor, and the only thing that he had was just depression when like during like the show and whatnot.
Most of the time, rumors like this are easily dismissed, but for some reason, millions of people all around the world genuinely believed them. It's likely that even you have some random conspiracy theory about Steve embedded into your brain. However, most people just thought he died. An easy one to disprove, but it still worried him. I'm starting to think that maybe there's something people know that I don't know. In November 1999, the New York Times published an article detailing Steve Burns' time working on Blue's Clues and described the show's impact on children. Most notably, the article addressed the unsettling rumors surrounding Mr. Burns' well-being. The rumors were so prominent that the talk show host Rosie O'Donnell invited Steve to appear on her show. I died a whole lot of different ways, Steve recalled. Rosie's kid is a big fan, so I just went on and said, "Hi, I'm alive. Bye." It was pretty easy to prove I wasn't dead. These rumors were so powerful that Steve felt the need to address Rosie O'Donnell's child with "I'm alive" because he knew children around the world were genuinely concerned about him. Because you have to keep in mind that Blue's Clues was the highest rated premiere of any Nickelodeon program and became crucial to the network's growth. It was a pioneer in interactive TV. The original Blue's Clues engaged its preschool age audience by breaking the fourth wall and speaking directly into the camera. Millions of kids around the world felt
I don't remember how old was I, but I was like pretty young. Like I was around my elementary days when I was watching Blue's Clues, bro. Damn, just seeing Steve like with the casual green shirt and there's like the school pants or something like that. Just seeing him just like when he was young just gave me so many memories.
Felt a deep and personal connection to Steve, which made these rumors more potent. It also made his exit from the show more detrimental. Mr. Burns was 22 when the show premiered, and as he approached his 30s, it was time to move on.
Reveals the bold truth about his departure. I knew I wasn't going to be doing children's television all my life, mostly because I refused to lose my hair on a kids' TV show. And it was happening.
Steve knew that his baldness would ruin his boyish look and appeal. The network insisted that he wear a wig, but he refused. Combine this with his depreciating mental health, it was finally time to exit. He told the viewers goodbye in his final send-off, alongside his new replacement Joe, and children around the world thought he was just going to go to college and he would return shortly. They were mistaken. Steve was not off to college. He was about to embark on his journey of being the lead singer of a psychedelic rock band.
I did not know Steve Burns was into like rock and all that stuff. That's crazy. You know, like the crazy to believe, like you've done acting like for a children's like show for so long that I can kind of understand where you're getting of saying, oh, I want to just kind of just move out of acting of a children's TV show and kind of just pursue my own like career, and that's what he wanted to do. I guess like in a rock band, which honestly I can give him benefit of the doubt. Like there's some celebrities who were in acting before and now they're like in like either a band or they're in like huge like movie stars and whatnot, and it's just crazy to believe how much people like actors and whatnot like we've seen throughout the years change, like I would say like careers, and they're still who they are to this day.
He was interested in music way before Blue's Clues. Steve Burns attended Boyertown Area Senior High School in Berks County, Pennsylvania, graduating in 1992. He played in bands called Sudden Impact, 9 Pound Truck, and the Ivies. He continued playing music on the side while pursuing an acting scholarship at DeSales University in the Lehigh Valley. Shortly after being discovered by an agent, Steve dropped out of school and moved to New York City to become a professional actor. In '95, Steve arrived at Nickelodeon under the impression he was auditioning for a voiceover role for a game show, but then later found out it was for a kid show. Steve was a grungy 90s...
Is that him? Yo, he looks... So we're seeing him with like long hair.
skate rock kid with long hair and earrings, not the ideal fit for the job. Tracy Page Johnson, executive producer and co-creator of Blue's Clues, says that he didn't want to be a children's host. Of the 100 people we auditioned, he was by far the realest. He loved kids, but he didn't want to make a career out of it. Steve didn't want to be on children's television. He wanted to make music, and after he stepped away from the show, he could finally make his dreams a reality. In 1999, Steve walked into a party in New York where he heard the Flaming Lips 1999 album, The Soft Bulletin, for the first time, considered by many to be the Flaming Lips' masterpiece. This moment changed Burns' life and reignited a passion for music he thought Blue's Clues had burned away. From there, he acquired Pro Tools and started writing songs. I had literally been doing nothing but talking to objects made of felt for 6 years. There was this weird creative constipation going on. Steve wrote roughly 35 songs in one sitting, but selected 12 to feature on his debut album, Songs for Dust Mites.
Wow.
Now it was time to get in the studio to record, so he contacted his favorite producer, Dave Fridman, who had worked with the Flaming Lips in the past. Interestingly enough, Fridman had just held a Blue's Clues themed birthday party for his children, so he was eager to see what creative potential Steve had. Steve sent Dave some demos, assuming he'd think they sucked, but he got the opposite reaction. Dave liked it, and he asked if Steven Drozd, the drummer of the Flaming Lips, could come and work on some music with them. In a dream world even Blue's Clues couldn't have imagined, the Flaming Lips wanted to work with Steve. The bassist, Michael Ivins, later joined the team as well, helping engineer several sessions. The lead vocalist, Wayne Coyne, actually approached Steve with the offer to star in a movie he was directing called Christmas on Mars. He was hesitant at first, but ultimately accepted the role. Because of Steve's ridiculous story of leaving a kids show and starting a band, there was a flurry of interest from various record labels. He ultimately signed with Pius Records in late 2002 when a label executive sat him down and said, "This makes sense. I don't know why, but there's a thread of logic between Blue's Clues, the Flaming Lips, and your record." And he was right. Something about the perfectly innocent image of a children's show, combined with the amount of insane rumors surrounding Steve, leading to being a frontman of a psychedelic rock band, was a crazy storyline. Burns'
That's why I kind of mentioned. Like I said, I kind of mentioned, like you've done like so much acting for Blue's Clues for so long that that you're now like in a psychedelic, like you said, rock band, and you basically just like. You're trying to do what you actually want to do. You weren't expecting, oh, I'm gonna be on a kids show and it's gonna sell and it's gonna do really well. because he said he wasn't expecting to like be on like a kid's show and whatnot and do like really well. But the fact that he's gone like he's done so much with the show, and he had just make his own career of a rock band, like that just shows the dedication that he wants to go for when it comes to it.
Professionally entered the world of rock music following the release of his indie rock album Songs for Dust Mites in August of 2003. Although the 12-track album did not garner much commercial success, it received praise from critics, as Pitchfork gave the project a 7.8 out of 10, and complimented Burns' lyrical insight and gift for writing and arranging endlessly listenable pop songs. You can actually hear one of the songs from the album, Mighty Little Man, as the opening theme for the CBS series Young Sheldon. Despite releasing music and starring in a horror comedy film called Netherbeast, rumors surrounding Steve's death resurfaced on the internet again. Burns told MTV in late 2007 that he was starting to take it personally. I guess the world would prefer that I was dead, but I'm not listening. I should really just create a website with my vital statistics on it. It could be live. There has to be a way I can hook up a heart monitor to my computer just to let people know I'm alive. To this day, Steve's Instagram handle is Steve Burns Alive, with a bio that reads, "I've seen the meme." Unfortunately for Steve, he didn't exactly become the rock star he dreamed of being. Most of his buzz from his first project was earned due to the juxtaposition of his Blues Clues career. After that, he started another band, Steve Burns and the Struggle, alongside the Flaming Lips Stephen Drozd and A Million Billion frontman Ryan Smith. The collective released an album, Deep Sea Recovery Efforts, in 2009, but it failed to do anything substantial. For many years, Steve disappeared from the spotlight. Slowly but surely, rumors of his death, addiction, and God knows what else made their way back onto the internet. But in 2017, Steve got a call.
Like, with, I guess, social media just around, like, he just has to just kind of, I guess he just took a step back just to be like, okay, let me just kind of take a step back, kind of calm down after what I just done, like doing kids shows, doing rock bands. Let me just kind of be myself. And then, yeah, like 27, I think what he just said, like 2017 came back. Like, that's just crazy to believe.
Call that he never thought he would get. Nickelodeon gave the original creators of Blues Clues permission to develop a reboot of the series after multiple failed attempts. Nickelodeon posted a video announcing that they were looking for a new host of the show. Oh, wow. Steve helped the creators during the casting process, and after 1,000 auditions, they eventually selected Josh De La Cruz, who was
Now, I'm gonna give my thoughts on Josh real fast, because I'm not gonna lie, I like him, but I'm gonna be honest, it's just, don't get me wrong, I like Josh. Like him now, like he did Broadway and whatnot. He's cool. I like him, but I do prefer, in my opinion, Steve and Joe and whatnot. I've seen like a little bit of the show, but I've never seen like the entire thing because I'm a teenager now. I'm not that age, but I've seen a couple of the show, like a couple episodes here and there of Blue's Clues and You, and it's not bad, but I prefer like the old ways of Steve and Joe, but I can understand why he kind of took away what he wanted to do, and he kind of just found like a new host and whatnot. But hey, he's doing really well. Like the show's doing really well. Surprisingly, I'm happy that it's doing really well, considering the fact that the show was doing like really good at the time, and now it's still doing good with like a reboot coming, like with this reboot coming back.
Was an understudy for Disney's Aladdin on Broadway for 5 years. De La Cruz would play Steve and Joe's cousin, Josh. Steve was initially reluctant to continue his association with the show, but was persuaded by its fans on social media to write, direct, and appear on the show. The reboot, Blue's Clues and You, has been a huge success following its premiere, producing 4 seasons before being renewed for a 5th early last year. Keep in mind, most people had no idea this even happened, unless you have kids.
Same. I did not know like this had a reboot until I think it was either my sister or my mom just told me, hey, there's the new Blue's Clues. I'm like, what? Really?
Kids or very young siblings, you probably never knew that Steve returned to the show. But in 2021, Nick Jr.'s Twitter account posted a video for the 25th anniversary of Blue's Clues featuring...
Oh my gosh, I remember when this happened, dude. I remember my mom told me, hey, like, you remember Steve from Blue's Clues? I was like, yeah. And she said she had something to tell you on TikTok. And she showed me, and I was like, what? And I'm not gonna lie, I was about to cry because it's just like you've known Steve for so long, and he's like talking to the camera like he's talking to you like years later. It's like seeing an old family member you haven't seen like in like 5 to 10 years, and you're kind of just having a talk with them like it's been 5-10 years. How have you been? Like it was just really just cool to talk with him like through the camera, like he's talking to you like an old like Blue's Clues member.
Featuring Steve, and we all thought he had returned from the dead.
Hi. You got a second?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You remember how when we were younger we used to run around and hang out with Blue and find clues and talk to Mr. Salt, freak out about the mail and do all the fun stuff. And then one day I was like, oh, hey, guess what? Big news. I'm leaving. This is my brother Joe. He's your new best friend. And then I got on a bus and I left. And we didn't see each other for like a really long time.
Oh.
Can we just talk about that? Great. Because I realized that was kind of abrupt.
Steve went on to explain what happened to his character, continuing the fake story of him going to college, because having a...
It's kind of crazy to believe, like, I'm not here going to college, and they just, like, ghosted us for so long of how many years? Bro. I remember I was in elementary, like, school when I saw that, Blue's Clues, and now I'm like, almost about to graduate high school. Like, how many years I've been watching Blue's Clues? That's crazy.
A really unsuccessful rock band was not the narrative Nickelodeon wanted to continue, but his ability to speak through the camera and develop a one-on-one connection with the viewer resonated deeply with Blue's Clues fans.
Yeah.
It's like we were all 5 years old again. The post was retweeted 700,000 times and liked by 1.9 million people. I think the overwhelming engagement is a huge testament to how powerful these rumors were over the years. Literally millions of people around the world thought he was a criminal, a drug addict, or dead. It's almost as if people wanted to believe them, because the rumors were debunked numerous times over the years. So for him to essentially return from the shadows after 2 decades was shocking for so many people. This return finally put the rumors to rest. Steve Burns is not a child predator, he is not a drug addict, he is not a criminal, and most certainly not dead. Although he didn't want to be in kids' TV originally, he doesn't regret it at all. I hope I'll be remembered for that show for the rest of my life. That will always be a part of my identity, and I'm totally cool with that. Today, Burns travels to colleges around the country to speak to students about mental health because those rumors destroyed his, and now he's using that to help you improve yours.
That is amazing. That is like amazing, bro. Like, he's done like so much for kids.
Remembered for that show for the rest of my life.
So long, and now he's like going to like different schools, kind of helping kids like get like, I guess, giving them advice regarding like mental health and all that stuff. And that's like crazy, really, since he's experienced with that. And it's all started with him like just doing a kids TV show. Like, that's just crazy. Hey, like I said, check out Patrick CC. Give him like some love. Like, this dude goes so deep into documentaries, and it's so interesting to get into. And I really like Patrick CC. He's really amazing. So yeah, that was basically it. That was Steve Burns. Lied to Us, But It's Okay. Escape Blue's Clues. That was a really interesting documentary. Like, grew up, like I said, y'all don't know. Like, I grew up with him. Favorite TV show when I was little, and it's just crazy to believe how Steve Burns kind of like his life like changed so much. Like after like before when he was in Blue's Clues, after he went Blue's Clues, before like once after he went to the spotlight, his career changed a lot. So, Steve Burns will forever be like one of my like favorite like childhood actors, as well as Blue's Clues being one of my favorite kids TV shows of all time. Love Blue's Clues. All right, I'm gonna end it right here. Let me know what y'all think. And if y'all like this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.